Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear sister. The message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nanshi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I am a young South African woman. I am aged 29 years old. So I am dating this other pastor. This pastor is a well-known pastor, so I am one of the women that he dates. It's not like I go to church. No, I even hate church because I think that Christianity is just a lie. So I am dating this pastor. He's the one who is responsible of taking good care of me, and he has since impregnated me. As we are speaking right now, I am 5 months pregnant for him. So this is what the pastor does. This pastor, he clearly told me that when he is at church, he is at work. So I respect that. And this pastor, what worries me is that when I started dating him, he used to smoke weed, because usually what we do is that on a Friday, we go to this other hotel, the favorite place where he takes me to. It's like his favorite place. When we are there, we spend the whole of Friday. So we go there on a Friday night, Saturday, then Sunday he will return back to his wife, because he does not want people to know that he cheats on his wife. Then he goes straight to church. So from Friday he will be drinking beer, then on Saturday he will be busy detoxifying himself and getting ready for church, because he would want to be sober. Then I'll be drinking, and after church he will come straight to the hotel to give me money. He even gives me money that people would have given him as a free will offering. He'll just pretend as if he wants to use that money for some church business, but he'll be wanting to give that money to me. So when I started dating him, he used to take weed. I was okay with it. Weed and alcohol, it was good. But the problem that is happening right now, I found traces of drugs in his car. Mind you, Brother Nashi, I date a lot of men. I am not dating this pastor only. So I have dated guys that are into drugs, that like take drugs, like heavy stuff. So when I found traces of drugs in his car, I asked him, and he said no, it was one of his other friends. So he then came to the hotel, and when he thought that I was fast asleep, that was when he started taking his drugs, and he was busy injecting himself. And I then woke up and I found him. He was busy injecting himself, and I said, this thing that you are doing, don't you know that it is going to destroy you? So he said that he is in control. He is in total control. He said that the reason as to why he takes these drugs, it is because he just wants his mind to be in one place. He said that it is not easy to stand in front of the church whilst you are lying to people that God does exist when God does not exist. So this is what he told me, but I am really worried. I do not want him to end up being a drug addict. When he used to smoke weed, it was fine by me, but as for drugs, I've seen what taking drugs will do to a person. So how do I stop him from taking these drugs and sinking further into drug addiction? Dear listeners, right there was a message that was forwarded to me by one of our admins. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world, but dear sister, God does exist. When you say that God does not exist, maybe it means a different God, but God does exist. Then there is another message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. The message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I came here to South Africa. This was after I had fought with my wife. The problem with my wife was that whenever we would have an argument, she will then take a rope, then she will run into the mountains, and she will be screaming and saying that I am going to kill myself, I am going to commit suicide, and after I would have committed suicide, then I am going to come back as an avengeful spirit, Ngozi. And this is what she used to do. I grew tired, and I then thought of running to South Africa. So when I came here, I then started dating this other woman who was also from Zim. And then when she was pregnant, that was when my wife just called me. She called me and she told me that she was in Messina. And I said, what am I supposed to do? At that time, Brother Nashi, I really had a nice job. I was working in Pretoria. And she said that if I am going to die, you have to know that my parents, they know that I have come to South Africa to find you. So I then dumped the woman that I was staying with, and I came and I collected my wife in Messina. So me and my wife, we then started working at this other farm that is in old days. That was where we started working. We worked for a very long time until we moved out of that area and we started working at this other farm. Then my wife, she started changing. She started dating the foreman. Yes, this was what she did when I had returned back home to get my passport, because my boss said that since you will be working with this other guy who was the truck driver, so we'll bring these potatoes to Johannesburg. So along the way, we used to have a lot of problems with the police. So I had gone back to get a passport, and when I returned back, that was when I heard the rumors that my wife had been busy with the foreman. This really broke my heart. I said, oh well, we are going to sort it out. And I then went to this other farm. At that farm, there is this very powerful red garment prophet. That man, you should see him. Sometimes he can only work for less than 14 days, but his boss will give him a full salary. Sometimes he can just go to work from 7 until 10. Then he returns back to the farm's compound, and the boss won't even ask him. And I went to that powerful red garment prophet, and I said, I want you to give me the charms that is going to hurt this man that has been sleeping with my wife. So he then gave me some charms. When he gave me the charms, little did I know that these charms were going to kill this man. So he gave me some 5-cent coins. There were a lot of 5-cent coins. He said that before you go to bed, I want you to place one on your doorstep, and the rest of the coins, I want you to go and place them on the foreman's doorstep. So at around 8 p.m., when I heard that everyone was quiet, so at around 8 p.m., when everyone had gone indoors, I then went out and I checked and I saw that no one was seeing me. I then placed the first 5-cent coin and I started walking towards the foreman's room, and I placed those 5-cent coins. Early in the morning, I had set an alarm for 3 a.m. I woke up and I went and I collected those coins. And later on, when I was at work, that was when I threw them. And after that, the foreman, he started to get so sick. He was like really sick and he stopped working. They then returned him back to his village, and this man, he died. I was happy, and I knew that this red garment prophet, whatever that I would want, he was going to help me. So I went there, and he said that the amount that he wanted was a full month's salary for the thing that I wanted him to do for me. I said, that is fine. I can even give you my 2 months' salary if you will be able to assist me. I wanted total power, and I wanted to be the boss boy. I wanted to be the one who would be very close to our boss. I wanted to be the foreman. So he told me that I had to find a way to get my boss's hair, and after that I was supposed to return back to him. This took me a very long time until an opportunity came. The pivot had broken down, those ones that we use to irrigate the fields. It had broken down, so my boss then called me, and when we were working, and then I got the opportunity to look for some tools in his car. And you know that these white people, they always have their hair falling down. So I then picked up a few and I placed them in my pocket. And later on, after we had knocked off, I then went straight to that red garment prophet, and he said, yeah, that is nice. It is not a lot, but it can work. He took those few strands of hair, and he said that he was going to keep it, and I was supposed to buy eucalyptus oil. I then went to Clicks and I bought first that eucalyptus oil, and he said that it was the wrong one. He wanted the other one that is written Hercules. So I had to go around and I finally found it in Pep. So I got that eucalyptus oil and I was given some sandawana oil. This prophet was the one who sold that sandawana oil for me, and he started to mix the eucalyptus oil and the sandawana oil. Then when he was mixing them, there was fire that was burning on top of the oil, and he said that my blood was now needed before he would have placed my boss's hair. And he then gave me a needle, and I stabbed myself, and then I started to squeeze the blood into that small container where he was mixing the oil, the eucalyptus oil and the sandawana oil. After that, he then took those few strands. After that, he then took my boss's hair and dropped them into that small bottle, and he said that what was needed now was the hair of a newborn baby. Brother Nashi, I struggled, but then there was this other woman. After she had given birth, that was when I made a plan, and I got the baby's hair, and I returned back to that red garment prophet, and now I am the farm foreman. I went to Zim with my boss's car, and people were like, that is impossible. He can never give you his car. He gave me his car, a Toyota Land Cruiser, and I went with it back home. He had written an affidavit that he was allowing me to cross with it into Zim. I do whatever that I want at my boss's farm. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our brother right there. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. You can just imagine.